4th of June 2024. Hi guys, welcome to Dot Rants, the comedy and tragedy of living in Singapore. I'll be very careful when you're taking the train during a thundery shower. Train services along a section of the North-South line were disrupted for more than 2 hours yesterday after a lightning strike caused a power trip. There was no train services between Choa and Woodlands MRT stations, disrupting the evening peak hour commute. According to the SMRT, there was a lightning strike that caused traction power to trip. Preliminary investigations found a small fire involving a power control box located about 20 meters from Kranji station platform. There were no reported injuries and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Affected commuters reported that according to an official announcement, the delay was due to a passenger pressing the emergency button. No further information was given on the status of the train service to the passengers on the train, and no staff was around to provide directions. Passengers got tired of waiting on the stalled train and made their way to the bus stop. Many commuters who were travelling from Jurong East got stuck at Choa. They complained that there was no announcement advising them to take an alternative line. The Straits Times has not forgotten to add that Singapore has one of the highest occurrences of lightning in the world. Earning the Republic its reputation as a lightning capital. Lightning capital. Okay. In the last video, I talked about chicken feed in the form of CPF rates increase. Another bit of chicken feed was announced just after I made the video. A pay rise for our NSFs, many of whom will ORD around the age of 21. I remember when I was a recruit, I only had $90 a month. But it's not always people who are poor who will steal. An associate director of human resources who lined her pockets with almost $200,000 of her company's money was put behind bars on the 3rd of June. Tan Lee Na, 53, was sentenced to 18 months and 6 weeks jail after admitting to 2 counts of cheating and 1 charge of criminal breach of trust. 18 other charges were taken into consideration during sentencing. Earlier, the only woman among 10 suspects in Singapore's multi-billion-dollar money laundering crackdown was sentenced to 15 months in jail on the 30th of May. Lin Baoying was convicted on 1 count of money laundering and 2 counts of fraudulently using a forged document. Seized assets included cash from 13 bank accounts, 5 properties, cryptocurrencies, 2 cars, and memberships at 2 country clubs in Singapore, totaling $154 million. In determining the proposed sentence for Lin, the prosecution referred to the 4 of her fellow countrymen before her. They were handed jail terms between 12 and 14 months. I've always wondered what sort of businesses these folks could be doing to earn their billions. But hopefully it's not drug trafficking, which would have gotten their runners hanged. Next, Prof. Taking soon again. He made a couple of interesting posts. The first one I noticed was this. I quote, "LKY's belief is that a small country cannot produce enough talent. Many people also believe this. The facts are different. Estonia has 1.3 million, but it has produced great digital inventions. The Scandinavian countries are also small, yet they produce great inventions. Kerala, a small strip of land in southwest India, has produced the largest number of intellectuals in India. It is not size alone. It is the political and educational systems that make the difference. Fearful people cannot think well." Unquote. Well, my answer to that is LKY was well aware of the fact that Jews form only 0.2% of world population, but they win 20% of all Nobel Prizes. His disregard for local talent was based more on eugenics than on the size of our population. Most of us are descendants of peasants and laborers. The second interesting post shows Prof. Tay's blind spot vis-a-vis Chinese propaganda. I quote, "This is a very enlightening interview of the chief economist of a Chinese bank. It is factual. She herself says that discussion on economics in China is freely allowed, unlike some other topics. No, China's economy is not collapsing, though more money is going into the high-tech sector to counter American blockage, and the jobs sector is suffering. Honest." Unquote. Honest? These folks are lying in your face. They tell an international audience that discussion on economics in China is freely allowed, but look at what the National Security Department is telling their own people. Negative views on the Chinese economy is a threat to national security. And do you know what they do to people who are a threat to national security? How many people have been warned or even arrested so far? Once upon a time, there were literally millions of articles on Jack Ma on Chinese social media. Go do a search for Ma Yun on Baidu now. You won't find much. The party's legitimacy hinges on the economy. The restive masses allowed by material gains. Discussion on economics is always tightly controlled. If the Chinese people in that interview ever said anything unfavorable about the Chinese economy, they simply won't be going home. Today is the anniversary of a very tragic event. This is Mr. Xu Qinxian, who passed away in his hometown in Hubei province, January 2021, at the age of 85. Once a top party official, his name has not only been scrubbed from Baidu, he had been under house arrest for 30 years. Mr. Xu was definitely no ordinary man, and I mean it in every sense of the word. He was once the commander of the 38th Division of the People's Liberation Army. On the 20th of May in 1989, General Xu received orders to use military force on protesters at Tiananmen Square. General Xu defied these orders and declared that he would rather face death than go down in history as a sinner. The authorities had to wait till the 4th of June before someone was willing to open fire. I remember some 30 years ago when I was reading Asia Week magazine, I came across a story about a Chinese woman who won a scholarship to do a degree in fine arts in the US during the 1980s. Before she left, she had dinner with her classmates who told her, 发财了，可别忘了老同学啊。10 years later, when she was lecturing at an arts college in the US, she decided to pay her 老同学 a visit. She was surprised that none of them was doing art. Everyone was in business and enjoying a lifestyle far more lavish than the one she had in America. They have become very different people from those she once knew, and feeling out of place in the new China, she left as soon as she could. That's all I have for you for now. Stay cool and don't let the wrong people become influencers. Don't let the wrong stuff go viral. Thank you for watching.